In a move that has sent shockwaves through the global economy, China has just announced a sweeping ban on the use of the US dollar for international shipping payments, a decision that shakes the very foundation of global commerce and signals a bold new direction for the world's second-largest economy. This is not just a headline, it's a seismic shift that could reshape how nations and businesses interact on the world stage. This isn't just a technical tweak, it's a direct challenge to the dollar's dominance, signaling a new phase in the US-China economic rivalry. By targeting the very currency that underpins most global trade, China is making a statement that it's ready to rewrite the rules of international finance. For decades, the dollar has been the world's default trade currency, trusted by governments, banks, and corporations alike. Its stability and global acceptance have made it the backbone of international transactions, from oil to electronics. Now, China is forcing a dramatic pivot, pushing businesses to use the yuan or euro instead. This means companies around the world will have to rethink their payment systems, renegotiate contracts, and adapt to a new financial reality. The timing is no accident. With global tensions rising and economic uncertainty looming, China's leaders have chosen this moment to act, knowing the world is watching closely. With Donald Trump back in the White House and tariffs on the rise, Beijing is making it clear it won't play by rules it sees as weaponized against its interests. The trade war has entered a new, more complex phase, where currency and payment systems are now battlegrounds. The world is watching. Will the US retaliate? Will other countries follow China's lead, or will they resist this dramatic change? How will markets react to this unprecedented move? Investors are bracing for volatility, as uncertainty ripples through stock exchanges and currency markets from New York to London to Hong Kong. China's policy is more than retaliation. It's a strategic play to realign global finance and reduce reliance on the dollar. By asserting its own currency, China is seeking to build new alliances and strengthen its influence over international trade. By closing the door on dollar payments, China is opening new ones for its own currency, setting the stage for a more multipolar financial world. This could encourage other nations to diversify their reserves and payment systems, accelerating a shift that's been years in the making. The era of unchallenged dollar supremacy is facing its most serious test yet. As the dust settles, the world may be witnessing the dawn of a new financial order, one where power, influence, and currency are up for grabs. China's dollar ban is a direct response to renewed US tariffs, which have reignited tensions between the world's two largest economies and set the stage for a new era of financial confrontation. Under Trump's second term, the US has doubled down on economic pressure, imposing even stricter tariffs and targeting key Chinese industries, from technology to manufacturing, in an effort to curb China's rise. For Beijing, these tariffs are not just economic measures, they're seen as acts of aggression, attempts to contain China's growth and global influence. The dollar ban is a calculated counterstrike, designed to hit the US where it's most vulnerable, the dominance of its currency in global trade and finance. Chinese leaders have long viewed dollar dependence as a strategic weakness, one that gives Washington outsized leverage over China's economy and its ability to conduct business with the rest of the world. By banning the dollar in shipping transactions, China is forcing global partners and multinational companies to adapt to the yuan and euro, fundamentally changing the way international trade with China is conducted and reducing its exposure to US financial power. This move is also about accelerating the internationalization of the yuan, a project that Chinese policymakers have been working on for years, aiming to make the yuan a credible alternative to the dollar in global markets. China has built a vast network of currency swap lines with dozens of countries, allowing them to trade directly in yuan and bypass the dollar entirely. It has also developed its own payment system, CIPS, to rival the US-dominated SWIFT network, giving Chinese banks and businesses more autonomy in cross-border transactions. Now, by leveraging its massive market and export power, China is using its influence to push the yuan onto the world stage, making it increasingly difficult for foreign companies to avoid using the Chinese currency. The shipping ban is the boldest step yet, signaling to the world that access to China's enormous market now comes with new conditions, ones that favor the yuan and challenge the dollar's supremacy. It's a forceful push to make the yuan a true rival to the dollar in global trade, and a clear message that China is ready to reshape the rules of international finance on its own terms. China's dollar ban has thrown global shipping into chaos. Ports in Shanghai and Shenzhen are scrambling to adapt, causing major delays as payment systems and contracts are overhauled. US exporters are hit hardest, cargo is stuck, payments in yuan or euros are a logistical nightmare, and American ports are seeing a sharp drop in shipments to China. The ripple effects are global, supply chains are disrupted, costs are rising, and inflationary pressures are mounting. Shipping giants must now juggle multiple currencies, increasing complexity and risk. Smaller firms are struggling to keep up, facing new administrative hurdles and financial exposure. The ban acts as a non-tariff barrier, favoring those aligned with China's economic system. Ultimately, consumers worldwide will feel the impact through higher prices and more uncertainty. At the heart of the ban is China's bold push to make the yuan a global currency. By mandating yuan and euro payments for shipping, Beijing is forcing the world to adapt, whether it's ready or not. China's CIPS payment system is gaining traction, and the move appeals to Europe by promoting the euro as an alternative. This isn't just about trade, it's about dividing Western alliances and accelerating de-dollarization. The ban is a proof of concept, challenging the dollar's dominance in a key sector and encouraging others to follow suit. But the yuan's path to true global status is blocked by China's own capital controls and lack of convertibility. Forcing its use is one thing, making it a trusted global reserve is another, and that will require deeper reforms. China's push to internationalize its currency now extends deep into the world of commodities, where it's putting pressure on global mining giants like Australia's BHP. For decades, iron ore, the backbone of China's industrial boom, has been priced in US dollars. But now Beijing is urging BHP and other major exporters to accept yuan for their shipments, signaling a dramatic shift in the way global trade could be conducted. At the heart of this effort is China's new state-backed buyer, CMRG, which is using its enormous market power to demand not only lower prices, but also payments in yuan. This move is designed to reduce China's reliance on the US dollar and give it more control over the terms of trade for the resources it needs most. Recent reports suggest that BHP may have already agreed to some transactions in yuan, a development that could be a game-changer for global commodity markets. If true, this would mark the first time a major Western mining company has accepted yuan for such a critical resource, setting a powerful precedent. If iron ore, oil, and other vital resources begin trading in yuan, it would erode a key pillar of the dollar's dominance in international trade. The implications go far beyond just pricing. They could reshape the entire global financial system, shifting influence away from the US. The United States views this as a direct threat to its economic power, while Australia finds itself caught in a dilemma, balancing its deep economic dependence on China with its long-standing strategic alliance with the US. The stakes are high for both countries, and for the global order. This standoff marks a significant shift from a seller's market, where exporters set the terms, to a buyer's market, with China now dictating the rules. The balance of power in global trade is clearly tilting. If China succeeds, it could set a precedent for other commodities like copper and coal, further challenging the dollar's role and encouraging other countries to follow suit. Ultimately, the battle over commodity pricing has become a battle over currency, and, by extension, a contest for global economic influence that could shape the future of international trade for years to come. China isn't alone in de-dollarization. India and Russia are joining the trend. US tariffs on India for buying Russian oil have pushed New Delhi to settle payments in yuan, bypassing American sanctions. Russia gets paid, India secures cheap oil, and China's currency gains new ground in the energy market. This pragmatic partnership is reshaping global trade, as old rivals find common cause in avoiding the dollar. The petrodollar system is showing cracks, with more oil trade now happening in yuan. If other major producers like Saudi Arabia follow suit, it could trigger a seismic shift in global finance. US sanctions are proving to be a double-edged sword, sometimes pushing adversaries closer together. The rise of a yuan-based trade axis is a warning sign for the dollar's future. China's dollar ban and the rise of yuan-based trade have sparked debate about the dollar's future. The dollar's dominance isn't ending overnight. It's deeply entrenched, backed by US financial markets and global trust. But the siege is real. More countries are diversifying, building alternatives, and reducing their dollar exposure. China's actions are accelerating this shift toward a multipolar currency world. The US risks pushing more nations away if it keeps using the dollar as a tool of coercion. For the yuan to truly rival the dollar, China must embrace financial reforms and greater openness. The global economy is entering a new era of currency competition, with risks and opportunities for all. The dollar remains first among equals, but its unchallenged reign is over. The contest for financial supremacy has begun.